All right, welcome in everyone to another deep dive. Today we're tackling someone who I'm sure you've at least heard of, Charles Sobhraj,
Yeah.
the Serpent.
A big one.
Big one, yeah. And we're really focusing on his time in Tihar Jail in India.
Yes.
And that just absolutely insane 1986 escape.
It's wild.
It's wild,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so much to unpack.
I know. And especially, I think,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, especially, after that Netflix and BBC series, The Serpent, I
Yeah.
think it really sort of reignited
Oh, for sure.
interest in him.
Yeah.
And for folks who maybe aren't as familiar, Charles Sobhraj
Right.
was this just dominant figure, really sinister figure on what they called the hippie trail.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 70s, he was a con man,
Mm-hmm.
jewel thief, drug dealer, murderer, and yeah, just earned that name, the Serpent,
Yeah.
for being very cunning and evasive.
Absolutely. And so to really dig deep today, for you guys, we've got articles from India Today, Hindustan Times, some academic analyses. Really the mission is, let's try to understand this guy Sobhraj.
Right.
Like what made him tick.
Right.
And then the corruption in Tihar Jail, which is just
Oh, yeah.
mind-blowing.
It's unbelievable.
How he was even able to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then how did he actually pull off this escape?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we'll get into the details, but it's just
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
So let's start, take us back to the beginning. When did Sobhraj first end up?
Yeah.
Think
So
about
we got to go back to July of 1976, right?
Okay.
He gets arrested in India at this place called the Vikram Hotel in New Delhi, and it's for drugging 22 French tourists.
Oh, wow.
So big group of people.
Huge group, yeah.
But even at this point, he's already this notorious figure, like he is the most wanted man in Asia, diabolical murderer, all these names.
Right.
Really scary guy.
So he goes into Tihar. What are the early days like for him in there?
So, he's not exactly a typical inmate who's like, humbled by the situation.
Right.
Right. So there's this early incident, and it involves a prison officer named Garg.
Cool.
And Garg finds Sobhraj
Yeah.
in an area he's not supposed to be in.
Oh.
Right. And what's interesting is how Sobhraj reacts.
Yeah.
Doesn't plead, doesn't, beg for forgiveness. He threatens Garg.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I will see you, Mr. Garg, at the proper time.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, a little ominous.
Yeah. And so this guard guy, he's not just going to take that, is he?
No, he's not. So he actually writes a letter to the Inspector General of Prisons.
Okay.
And this letter is detailing not just the threat, but all the corruption he's seeing.
Oh, wow.
And he even alleges that the deputy superintendent is biased against him.
That's wild.
Yeah, so you can kind of start to see the prison system itself has a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah, way before Sobhraj gets there.
Exactly.
So this letter from Garg, it gets some attention, right?
Oh, it does, yeah. A few years later, 1980, the Supreme Court orders an inquiry. And a guy named Markandeya does this report, and it's damning.
Really?
Yeah, he calls Tihar Jail a tiny kingdom of corruption.
Oh, my gosh.
Run by criminals and corrupt officials. It's bad.
So the prisoners are basically just, they're victims on top of being prisoners.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah, trapped in this corrupt system.
Yeah, so I guess Sobhraj being who he is, he sees this and he's like, all right,
Yeah.
this is how I'm going to thrive.
He sees an opportunity, yeah.
Yeah.
The report suggests he gains control over this whole criminal official nexus.
So what are some of the things that are happening inside Tihar?
Okay, so there's these illegal businesses, right? Like they're brokering meetings between prisoners and visitors,
Okay.
taking cuts, commissions, and there's drug trafficking going on.
Oh, wow.
Mandrax, Karajkaras, and what's really chilling is that Sobhraj arrives and the drug trade seems to explode.
Oh, no.
It's like he either brought it with him or just accelerated it.
Right, like he had connections or something.
Something, yeah. It's
Yeah.
really suspicious.
And it's not just like the low-level guards, right? This goes all the way up.
It goes right to the top. The superintendent, the deputy, they're all in on it.
Oh, my God.
They're siphoning goods, taking cuts on prisoner transfers. It's a whole system.
Wow. There's this quote, right, from one of the officials that says, to keep their empire intact.
Yeah.
The mafiosi sleep with a revolver in their cell.
Yeah, it's like a mafia, not a prison.
So this is the world Sobhraj is in.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got these convictions, right?
He does, yeah. Culpable homicide, forgery, robbery, drugging.
But he's still running things.
Oh, yeah. He's paying off staff.
Yeah.
Continuing his operations from inside.
So what's the thing that really pushes him to want to break out of this place that he's essentially running?
It's the threat of extradition to Thailand.
Okay.
That's what all the sources say.
Yeah.
In Thailand, he's facing the death penalty for murders.
Oh.
And by 1985, he's almost done with his Indian sentence.
Oh, so it's getting real.
Yeah, extradition is becoming very likely.
But he's not exactly like a newbie to escaping, is he?
No, he's got this history of escapes.
Right.
Rhodes Police Station, Bombay Prison, Kabul Jail, even a Greek high-security prison.
Oh, my God.
He set a police van on fire to get out of that one.
This guy is like a movie character.
He really is, yeah. So by 86, with Thailand looming and his past, it's not surprising he wants to escape again.
So take us through how this 1986 jailbreak starts to come together. What are some of the early signs?
So there's this weird incident with a cat.
A cat.
Yeah, in jail number 3. It eats something and it passes out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it makes you think he was testing the drugs.
Ugh, that's awful.
Yeah, it shows how meticulous he was.
So was there like a specific day and time picked for the escape?
Oh, yeah. Sunday, March 16th, 1986.
Okay.
Between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Clearly chosen because staff levels would be low.
Smart.
Yeah. Minimize resistance, maximize their chances.
So then we have this David Hall guy who shows up.
Right. He's supposedly a British drug runner, and he comes in with baskets of fruit, candy, and a birthday cake for Sobhraj.
But his birthday isn't until April.
Exactly. It was a month early.
That's so strange. What was up with that?
It was all a cover.
Oh, okay.
The cake was a way to bring in a ton of food.
Oh, I see.
Without anyone getting suspicious.
So then how did they actually drug everyone?
They used 820 pills of the sleeping drug Larpos.
820. That's a crazy amount.
Yeah. They crushed them up and apparently injected the powder into the food. Sweets, grapes, fruit cream, everything.
I mean, how did he even get that much Larpos into the prison?
That's the thing, right? It points to a network of people helping him.
Yeah.
Probably bribes, threats, who knows.
Wow.
But it just shows how deep the corruption went.
And then who does he actually invite to this little party?
He invites the warden, Prem Bahadur.
The warden?
Yeah. And 6 other staff members, 2 convict helpers, and 1 under trial prisoner.
That's so bold.
It is. He must have had so much confidence.
Why?
And control over everyone. He knew their routines, their weaknesses.
So they all eat this stuff. And then what happens?
Within minutes, they all start feeling faint.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. And soon, everyone's unconscious. The drug was strong
Oh, God.
and effective. It cleared the way for their escape.
But it's not over yet, is it? They actually do something else before they leave?
Yeah, this part's almost funny if it wasn't so serious.
What do?
They tied up all the unconscious officials.
They tied them up.
Yeah, with medical gauze tape.
Oh, come on. Gauze tape.
I know, right?
So then how do they actually get out of Tihar?
Okay, so Sobhraj, Hall, and 5 other inmates,
Okay.
they just walk out.
Just walk out.
Yeah, and get into a waiting car, an off-white Ambassador.
A car. How did they get a car inside the prison?
I know, right?
That's insane.
It shows how much they could control things.
So nobody notices anything until it's too late.
Pretty much. It takes almost an hour for someone to find a dazed warder and unswore up.
Oh, my God.
But by then, the car's been seen leaving around 3 p.m.
So they had a head start.
Oh, yeah. Police even thought there might have been a second car.
Really?
Yeah, to throw them off.
That's wild.
And they had about 25 minutes before the alarm was fully raised.
Wow. So what happens next? I mean, the whole country's looking for them, right?
Yeah, the government was in shock.
Not bad.
Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, though, he later congratulated the police on recapturing Sobhraj.
Interesting.
But yeah, there were consequences.
Like what?
10 security personnel were suspended and arrested.
10.
Yeah, including 2 assistant jail superintendents.
Wow.
And at the time, a columnist, Nikhil Chakravarti, he said this, which I think sums it up.
What did he say?
He said, "Corruption and complicity with the underworld have become a feature of Indian prisons."
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then there's the recapture.
How did they catch him?
It's kind of crazy. They find him in a bar in Goa.
A bar?
Yeah. Policemen posed as waiters to get close to him.
That's like something out of a movie.
It is. And they got a tip from papers found on 3 of the other escaped inmates.
Oh, so they led them right to him.
Yeah, and Sobhraj was even making international calls from that bar.
Really? He wasn't even trying to hide.
It seems not. Maybe he thought he was untouchable.
It's crazy. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Sobhraj's mindset.
Okay.
He famously said, "I clean, not murder," right?
Right, he called it cleaning. It's chilling.
And he allegedly confessed to killing 10 travelers in 76.
Yeah.
What do you think was going on in his head?
It's hard to say for sure, but some people think he had this God complex.
Like he was above the law.
Exactly. He saw himself as this Nietzschean character, a criminal Superman.
Oh, wow.
It's like he justified his actions by thinking he was somehow special.
And there's this theory, right? That he escaped on purpose.
Yeah. The idea is that he didn't want to be extradited to Thailand.
Okay.
So he escaped and then maybe even orchestrated his recapture.
Oh, so he can stay in India.
Exactly. He even said it himself after he was caught.
What did he say?
He said, "Is all bullshit. I escaped last time only because they wanted to extradite me to Thailand. They can't do that if they have a case against me here."
That's wild. It's like he played the system.
He did. He knew the law, and he used it to his advantage.
And even in prison, he's still manipulating people, right?
Oh, yeah. Look at his relationships with women like Vaishali Reddy and his lawyer, Sneh Singar.
Yeah. What was going on there?
He had this charm, this way of making people trust him.
Right, like he was using them.
It seems that way. There's even an intercepted letter from Singar.
Really?
Yeah, it hints that she knew more about his escape plans than she admitted.
Oh, wow. And he was living pretty well in Tihar, wasn't he?
Yeah, there were reports of 5-star luxury.
How's he paying for all that?
It's a good question. It suggests he still had access to money, even in prison.
It's almost like he made the Indian authorities look foolish.
In a way, he did. He escaped, he manipulated the law, he lived like a king in prison.
So as we wrap up, what are the biggest takeaways for you about Sobhraj, his time in Tihar, and that incredible escape?
Okay, so first, his escape was planned.
Okay.
Like really well planned. He understood people. He was determined to avoid Thailand at all costs.
Right. And the second thing.
It exposed the corruption in Tihar. He exploited it perfectly.
Yeah. It's a crazy story. Hopefully you listening, you've gotten a better sense of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's a complicated story, but
Yeah.
I think it raises some really interesting questions.
I've
Like,
looked.
how much can one person manipulate systems and people?
Right.
And what does that say about our institutions?
Yeah, good questions.
And ultimately, Sobhraj's story makes you think about crime and punishment
Mm-hmm.
and just what drives some people to do the things they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a deep dive for
Yeah.
sure. Lots to think
A
about.
lot to think about.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you later.